Welcome to the Sim Podcast. I'm your co-host, Sarek, and I'm always joined by my co-host, Ron. What up, Ron?
What's going on?
You know what we do? We talk about the NFL on a weekly basis, including the playoffs. Ron, this is episode 133. Week number 7 is coming up. How are you feeling about the Steelers so far? Still in first place, right?
First place in the division, got a stranglehold on it. We can create some additional separation, I think, on Thursday if we're able to beat Cincinnati. I feel things are good, not only with the record, but the way they're playing. I think we're in pretty good position. As long as we continue to stay healthy throughout the rest of the season, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, and I know that the bashing, if you go online, they go like, well, Steelers are just not scoring enough. They're just not that kind of team. I don't think they've ever been that kind of team.
Yeah, and honestly, they're scoring more than they did last season, and they're not doing bad. Their offense is doing enough, and it might look different. I think that's what people might be angry about. It's not like, a Detroit team or a Buffalo team or, these high-powered offenses that are just throwing up 40, 50 points almost every week. It just looks different, but they're scoring. They've been scoring sufficient to be in the conversation at the end of the season as not only a playoff team, but a team that can win a playoff game.
This is a year, and I said at the beginning of the year, if the Steelers can win the division, then they're going to have at least one home game. So what's on the docket for today? We're going to have our NFL news. We're going to preview last week's games. We're going to have our power rankings. We're going to have our game predictions, including our game predictions. And we always end up with the upset session. Ron, I'm going to start with the Tua press conference for the news. Because I feel like people were like, oh, he's a snitch. He was the one that tell her. But what he was saying is not brand new.
No. So this is the second time, right? He's kind of spoken up about what's happening. I honestly think it's a reflection more on the head coach. And it's obvious that there is a lack of accountability on that team. And I think he feels like, listen, what can I do as a leader, as a quarterback, other than speaking up, because when I'm doing offline, behind closed doors, conversations I'm having with the coach, it's not working, right? So now I don't necessarily agree that he should have thrown all the dirty laundry out there, but I think it's more a representation of just the dysfunction on that team. And I'm surprised that we've made it. We've gone this far and the coach hasn't been fired as yet.
And we're going to get to the first firing of the season, but I really thought that it was going to be the Miami head coach.
Yeah.
But I guess, you win some, you lose some. Your boy Tomlin with the Flacco trade. I don't know if he was trying to undermine it or he's just trying to throw some gas in the fire, but did he really say, they really mean those things about the GM, the Browns GM?
Yeah. I mean, he's right, because first of all, regardless of what your records are and regardless of what your team needs are, you typically don't make trades within your division, period, right? And for them, Cleveland has their own dysfunction, right? It's obvious, the head coach and the GM, they don't get along. They didn't see eye to eye. They, especially when it comes to the quarterback position and who should be starting and playing and all that stuff. There's some friction there. There has been. They wouldn't have had 4 or 5 or 6 quarterbacks on their roster.
No, they say I saw some graphic that they're paying 8 quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's insane. But Tomlin's right. Not only did you trade within your division, but you traded someone who was your starter at the beginning of the season to your rival. When you could have easily looked outside of your division and even your conference to find, another team that is needing a quarterback. There's plenty of teams out there that need quarterbacks right now. So I don't know, and I agree with Tomlin. I don't know if the Cleveland GM knows what they're doing. They've done some great stuff, and I've talked about, I think before, how well they drafted this year and how, their young players are performing really well and stuff. But in terms of the quarterback situation and what that move that they made, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And Tomlin's right to say, why would you trade them within the division? And now I got to go face Flacco this week on a short week. And he's someone that's familiar with our team. The Bengals were reeling with Browning. He was playing awful, right? And
do you think they're going to be better with Flacco?
Yeah, I think Flacco's going to be way more competent. Flacco listen, I know he's having a terrible year, but he's more than capable to get, with, Chase and Higgins, as weapons. He's more than capable with a few days of practice of scoring points. Even this week, what did he score this week? They scored some points this week. So, and that's something that Browning wasn't really able to do. So it makes this game more challenging, but I think it's more than just us facing them. It's just what are you doing, as a GM?
So why not just throw in Sanders already? Why stick to Dylan if you're the Cleveland Browns? Why stick to Dylan?
Because the head coach likes Dylan. He really likes Dylan. He thinks Dylan could be a starter. Listen, Dylan has a lot of years of experience, 6 years or something, 5 years in college, starting. So, and he doesn't have the greatest arm. He's not the best athlete or whatever, but he hasn't played poorly these last 2 games.
Throwing 50 plus times.
That was just terrible, right? It made no sense whatsoever.
You mean you put in the rookie? What, he got sacked 5 times, 6 times?
Yeah.
I don't know. That decision there, that was fireable decision right there.
Yeah, but who should get fired first? The head coach or the GM or both at this point? Because what they're doing, it doesn't really make any sense whatsoever.
I don't know what the owner is thinking. So the Titans get rid of their Callahan, and then his dad quits. But it's kind of suspicious that they're doing this right before they face the Patriots, right before they face Brable. So eventually this was going to happen, but why now? Why now?
I don't know, but talk about dysfunction. I get, it goes back to what I was saying. There's so many teams, and I complain about Tomlin a lot. And, there's so much dysfunction in the NFL between the Dolphins, between the Browns, between now the Titans. There's a lot of teams that have no idea, the Jets, no idea what the hell they're doing, whatsoever. You move on from your head coach in week 6, heading into week 7.
I think this is 3rd or 4th year.
I thought it was only his second year.
No, I think it was the 3rd. I think he's 3-26, something like that.
And when did Vrabel leave though? Wasn't Vrabel?
Vrabel left 2 years ago. So I think last year he was a consultant for the Cleveland Browns.
But what do you think you have as a team? Your team's terrible. Your number one receiver, and I need to go look at this, but I think it's Van Jefferson. I mean, terrible. You have 0 receivers on your team. Cam Ward looks good, and you want him to develop, but how can he develop with your roster? I don't get it. The expectation there doesn't make sense, and the owner has no idea. I don't think he knows what he's doing at all. To get rid of Vrabel, I think it's obviously looking terrible, a bad move for him, right? So, I don't know. I think it's going to come back to bite that team in the butt. And I'm not saying Callahan was a great coach necessarily, but it just doesn't make sense, the timing of it all.
Why not just hire Jeff Fisher then?
Yeah, well,
he's available.
If you didn't like how the season went because for whatever reason you thought they should have finished better, even though I'm telling you that the roster stinks and you don't agree with me, then wait till the end of the season and get rid of him at that point. Why fire him in the middle of the season, especially when you guy's father is part of your, the coaching
staff.
Does that make any sense to you? I don't know.
I mean, once they already had a really, really bad offensive strategy, so it's not to me it was it was already a bad team. Just get rid of everybody. Just start over. Just start clean.
In the middle of the season, though.
Yeah, because now you're basically already throwing in the white flag. So hey, just with these teams that we're going to talk about, just like the Jets, just throwing the white flag. Just say, hey, you know what? This is not our season. This is not our season. So I put in a list of teams that I consider cooked team.
Wow. I'm looking at some of these teams.
They either have 0 wins, I'm talking about you, Jets, or 1 win. And when I was putting the list together, I noticed that most of these teams are in the American Football League.
Yeah. Well, you have San
Football
Francisco
conference.
in here, though.
Yeah, I have San Francisco. I don't know why, but I have New Orleans, which have 1 win. I put San Francisco in there because all the injuries.
But some of those guys are going to come back.
What, Fred Warner's going to come back?
Well, not Warner, but Purdy will be back.
Yeah, but
not that Mac Jones has played that bad. The receivers, Ayuk is going to.
Yeah, but in that division, do you think they're going to catch up with Seattle?
Catch up. They're 4-2 right now. They're both teams. I think they're in first place, right?
Because they're beating bad teams like Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it cooked yet. I think they're
cooked.
I think they're cooked.
I think they're cooked. I think that if you're hanging on Mac Jones to like save your season, I don't know, because last week they were giving him 2 weeks ago they were giving him flowers, and now they just lost. And they were like, oh, maybe not so fast.
Well, Purdy's getting healthy though, right? I don't know if he's back at practice or what, but he'll be back at some point, and maybe they feel with him and Ayuk back, and if they can get the running game going, and they get healthy, then they gotta. Why not? I'm looking at the standings. They are, what was it, like 3rd or 4th in their conference? 3rd in the conference so far at 4-2. So,
they do have an easy schedule, but I don't know. I don't think they're better than Seattle. I don't think they're better than the Rams. I think that they can compete with Cardinals. I just no, especially with the injuries, because now even if Bosa comes back, you're missing a Pro Bowl in the middle of the field. You're probably your best offender. I put them in the cook teams. But my original question to you is, of these cooked teams, other than Cincinnati, would you just start over with a new QB?
I would not with Tennessee. I don't think he's the problem.
Las Vegas?
Yeah, they got to find somebody. Geno hasn't played well at all. They need to find somebody else.
The Jets?
For sure. Fields is not a starting quarterback in the NFL.
No, he's at New Orleans.
They seem to like Rattler. He didn't play that bad this week. We'll talk more about the Patriots game. But they seem to like him. I don't know if maybe he can be a starting quarterback, but not like a high caliber starting quarterback, not a top 15 quarterback. I don't think, but maybe they know better than I do. And he can continue to improve and be better.
What about, and we just talked about Cleveland. Before we go to Cleveland, because we talked about it. What about Miami? You think that you get rid of Tua?
I think they need to blow that entire team up from head coach down, and start all over. And I think change of scenery for Tua would be good as well.
Yeah, because I know that Tua, they like, people like to, dunk on him, but he's a pretty good quarterback when he wants to be.
He's an accurate quarterback with a lot of limitations.
Yes,
no arm strength whatsoever, but he's very accurate.
He can kind of run if he doesn't get hit in the head. So, yeah, he's not like Jackson Dart where he's looking for contact.
I noticed you did not have Baltimore as a cook team, and they're 1-5.
I think they can win games eventually, but they're not going to make the playoffs. Because isn't Lamar coming back after the bye week? So maybe they'll be semi-competitive. But I'm talking about these are lottery teams. These are like top 10 teams.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, we maybe not San Francisco, but definitely everyone else. So let's look at last week's games, because full disclosure, I was out of the country, and even with the Wi-Fi, like, my YouTube TV still wouldn't work. And I was like, all right, well, we'll just watch the game at a bar somewhere. I called this place, spoke to the manager, and he was like, yeah, man, we'll have the game for you. No worry. I was like, American football, right? Yeah, we'll have it for you. We got there. It was like a half-hour drive. We got there. Damn Dodgers game. I was like, this is not what I came for.
Did you ask for the manager? And
I asked for the manager. Nobody knew who I talked to. Nobody knew that. He did what? Who you talked to? Who? Oh man!
So you didn't get to watch the game at all?
None. No games. None. No games at all. I was just like watching Twitter, watching the highlights, what posted, and I was just like, this is like punishment. But anyway, so overall, Ron, you are 63 points, 55 points for me. So we didn't gain or lose.
Yeah.
I think we both went same 11-11.
Let's go through these games real quick. I'll rush through them a little bit. Philly at Giants. We both had Philly. You didn't watch the game. Well, the Giants owned them. 34-17 was his final score. Is that surprising to you, or?
Well, the Giants were at home, and for some reason, they love Jackson Dart now. But he's not really like a smart quarterback yet. He just, I think that Philly has his own issues,
right.
But the improvisation of Dart kind of like, oh, what's going on? I don't know.
That's kind of like Drake May last year, though, right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you learn to slide. If I was saying, I'd be like, what? Why are you looking to have butts with people?
Yes, it's true. It's true. It's his emotion. He's kind of like Mayfield a little bit, but no one's like really Mayfield, but he's, kind of like on that side of like, I'm just going to let it all loose and go out and play like the way I've been playing.
He's going to learn the hard way. He's going to go in the tent a lot.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. All right, Denver, the Jets. We both picked Denver. They won. The Jets, man, oh man. I watched this game, and I can tell you, I was like, Aaron Glenn is going to get fired because
he's not even going to last.
It was so bad. It was so bad how Fields was playing in that first half. I think he finished the game with like a negative net passing yards, like negative. He was so atrocious. Guys running wide open, not seeing, not releasing and throwing the ball. And then when he did, like guys like were dropping the ball and stuff. I felt bad for Aaron Glenn. And then on the first half, like the way he managed that last drive, he had a chance to score, but he didn't trust. You could tell he didn't trust his quarterback. Fields. I'm not saying I would have done the same thing, but Fields he's not someone you can trust, and he didn't want to take any chances, and he let the clock run out when they could have probably put some points on the board that would have been, helped them win. But I feel bad for Glenn, the way he handled that. They asked him after the game, "Are you ready to change quarterbacks?" He's like, he brushed it off like immediately. And now, after the game or like a couple days later, it's like, listen, Fields regressed a little bit, but he should have been pulled. Fields played that poorly. Like Taylor should have went in, and he didn't change quarterbacks, stuck with it, and they lost. So
the thing is this, like, if you hired him because he had a success with Detroit, right? But then like they almost signed Fields so fast, like he was like a prize QB out there. Like, oh no, we got to take him right away because they're so, he's gonna have a lot of suitors. No, he did not have a lot of suitors. People were like head scratching. I remember when they signed him, people were like, "This is Aaron Glenn, so he's gonna start Fields at QB." Even though Chicago didn't work out, Pittsburgh didn't work out, but all of a sudden he's gonna speak to him like in a different language.
Yeah. I don't know, but I feel bad for it. I think he's gonna end up taking the fall, and really they don't have a good roster again. I think people are thinking that roster is good and they're not. And the quarterback, the most important position, you got a guy who honestly needs to switch positions at this point, or just be a backup for the rest of his career. Anyway, the other two games or things I want to mention for this week is that we both hit on our upset special, which was cool. You had Carolina beating Dallas. I don't know what to say about Dallas, but Carolina won 30-27, and then I had Washington losing to Chicago. Chicago winning 27-26.
Yeah, I saw that. I was hitting all my games until Sunday night and Monday night. I was like, oh. And then I think you mentioned in the chat, like, Falcons had 2 weeks to prepare. The Bears had 2 weeks to prepare. And I was just like...
Yeah, all the teams that had 2 weeks, Green Bay, Pittsburgh, they all won. 4-0, the teams that came off the bye week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're going to be good next week, but I was just like, okay, well, lesson learned. I guess 2 weeks. If you have 2 weeks to prepare for a game, especially, for Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this was a big, Buffalo must have known, like, hey, New England won. We need to win this game to stay on top.
I told you last week, Atlanta's defense, number 1 in the NFL. And then their offense, apparently, in terms of points per game, they're like number 2, which is surprising because Penix had that awful game, that one.
Yeah, they got shut out.
Awful game. I don't know how their offense is scoring so much, but, that defense is legit. They are legit. They can keep them in every game as long as Penix doesn't turn the ball over. So they're going to be a tough out down the stretch. I think there's nothing keeping Tampa from winning the division, but Atlanta is going to be a tough out for anyone that's playing them. And they might be able to somehow work their way into playoff contention at some point.
I think that I'm looking at their points allowed and points against. They're like 100 points allowed, 100 points given. So they're like, it's a good defense, but they can't put up points. Everyone else in the 140s, 120s, they're like right at 100. So they have ways to go with that Penix. The other game that was kind of shocking, and I was just like, what's going on with this game, Ron, is the not the Buffalo Atlanta game, but the game for Detroit, Kansas City.
Yeah, I was going to wait till we talk about rankings for this week to talk about this game, but bottom line, I think Kansas City's back. I think we had all said this was it and they're done. Kansas City might be back. And they are back. If you look at their schedule and the teams that they've played so far this season, there's a reason that I'm not saying it's excusable, but their 3 losses, I'm going to pull up their schedule right now. Chargers, game 1, Chargers fully healthy, and we all had picked the Chargers, I think, to make the playoffs. Eagles, they lost 20-17, and then the Jaguars, just last week, when the Jaguars barely won. Fluke play. So those were their 3 losses. Those are like legitimate teams that you played. It's not like if you look at like some teams, like the wins that they've had, the Colts are one team. If you look at their wins, it's like you haven't really played anyone yet. So I think you're good, but let's pump the brakes a little bit because you haven't played anyone. Kansas City has played people. They've been on every game. They've had a chance to win, and they
have a pretty easy schedule the rest of the way.
Yeah, they got an easy schedule, and they just faced a tough team and beat them, pretty convincingly too. So Kansas City's back. I think that's what that story is right there.
Yeah, other than the Broncos and the Chargers again, their schedule is cupcake schedule. It is a cupcake. So we know the Buffalo Bills might be fraudulent. So
I wouldn't say that either. It's too early at this point to call teams frauds. It's hard for me not to think Buffalo is going to be in the playoffs.
Once you go on a losing streak,
2 games,
that's a streak back to back. That's a streak. So, and not to step over our predictions, but I think. What do you have them losing? No, they have a bye week. Yeah. So they got lucky basically, because I think if they had another game, we might be talking about them, maybe like a wild card. I don't know.
But you wouldn't rule them out from
No, I wouldn't rule them out. I'm just saying that, we had them them and Philadelphia, we thought were the strongest teams, but we thought, nope, that's not going to happen. Let's go for a power rankings round. Who's in your power rank?
Yeah, there's some changes in my power rankings. I got a couple new teams in Kansas City and the Rams, and then I pulled Jacksonville and San Francisco out. So I got Tampa at the top. They deserve it. I had them number 2. With Detroit losing, I moved them up to number 1. I was struggling with who the second team should be, and honestly, I didn't want to put this team there just because I don't want to jinx them, but I got Pittsburgh at number 2. I think their defense is amazing. They've been lights out the last couple weeks. I think they've had like 11 or 12 sacks or something like that, and they are relatively healthy on defense. Now offensively, they're playing better. But I got them ranked number 2. I don't think they'll finish there, but that's where they're at right now. Detroit, I moved down to number 3 with the loss to Kansas City. Green Bay, I got at number 4. Indy at number 5. They were 5 last week. Seattle, I had at number 6. They were at number 9 last week. Philly, I moved down to number 7 with this loss. I'm not going to count them out yet, so I still got them in my top 10. The Rams at number 8. I got Buffalo. I moved them down to number 9. I think they will rebound and move back up the rankings too. And then Kansas City, I just mentioned, I think if you look at the teams they've played, I know they have 3 losses, but I still think they're one of the top 10 teams. So I got them at number 10.
Yes, I actually, now that I'm looking at my list, I did take Buffalo out, but I think that, they're lurking. I know that they have a bye week, but I think they're lurking. I have Tampa Bay because as long as Baker Mayfield is healthy, that team is going to win. Whether they win pretty, whether they win ugly. Then I have Green Bay. Then I have the Steelers at number 3. I have Denver at number 4. Seattle at number 5. I got the Colts at number 6. I got Philly. I still believe in Philly. I think that they have a strong roster, but the coaching maybe questionable.
It's important to note too, this last game that they lost, Jalen Carter did not play. That's their best defensive player, and he was out. So not making excuses for them. And I do think there's questions around their offense. But they're a team that if you count the teams that you don't want to face, your team to face in the playoffs, Philly's right on top of that list because they're returning Super Bowl champs. You don't want to face them. So they're top 10 to me for sure. Yeah,
that's why I got them at 7. And then I got the Chargers at number 8. Could have been the LA Rams, but I'm going to go with the Chargers. I got KC at number 9. And guess who's there?
I know you couldn't wait to put them in.
Oh, boy. They're back, baby. They're back. And got Tennessee this week, so I got them on number 10, the New England Patriots.
Yeah, I still have New England outside looking in. I think I'll put them at lurking. And I think their wins let me say this. I think they have one impressive win this year, and that was against Buffalo. But I also think Buffalo also only has one impressive win. So that's why I have Buffalo in there, versus New England. But, we'll see. I think the schedule is easy. They have a really good chance to rattle off some wins here. Certainly make the playoffs at this point if they can keep playing the way they're playing.
I mean, would you say, because I would say that the Steelers have a higher chance of making the playoffs because Cincinnati is basically out. Cleveland is out. We talked about it at the Cook teams. Baltimore, even if they get in a winning streak, they're not going to win enough games right now. I mean, they would have to, turn tables and just...
I saw Cincinnati almost do that last year, so...
Yeah, but that was Joe Burrows. I don't think you can do that with Lamar unless the defense all of a sudden wakes up.
Yeah, they got to play much better.
So I think that, until Buffalo Bills are out of the picture completely, I'm not going to give the division yet, but boy, when I saw first of all, at the beginning of the season, they were plus 3,000 to win that division. Then they won a couple of games and they were like plus 1,000. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get in this because there's something's happening here.
What's Buffalo's schedule look like though?
Cupcake schedule. That's what I mean. That's like you can't count them out.
Yeah.
Because
So both of these teams have cupcake schedules. Buffalo and the Patriots. I'm talking about.
Yeah. So
it might come down to the wire.
Yeah. And when they face each other again, I think this is gonna be an interesting game, and it's gonna be at Gillette Stadium. So let's see what they do when that happens. Let's go on to our predictions for week number 7. We're gonna skip the Thursday game and go to the Sunday games. Another London game. Why does this? It used to be that 1-2 games a year, and you're like, all right. But it's like I feel like even if is this permanent? Like,
yes.
Is this always gonna be like this? Like,
yeah.
Jeez, this is.
Goodell's serious about putting a team somewhere, outside the U.S.
That logistics is going to be awful.
This week right here, this Rams game.
Awful, because the Rams had to fly basically half across the world to just play.
Not to mention, they just flew across to play. Who they play? Baltimore? So they have to fly from West Coast all the way to the East to play Baltimore this week. I imagine they went back home, right? Back to LA. And now, at some point this week, I imagine probably Thursday, they'll fly all the way back out now again to head to London. That's not good for them. And that's why, we're getting to our picks. That's why I have Jacksonville winning this week.
It's terrible because even if these teams that play overseas, they get a bye week for playing overseas, you tell me that they're going to be ready, even that they play on Sunday, they're going to be ready to play on London time?
Yeah.
Terrible, but band plays on. Los Angeles Rams at the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is supposed to be a home game, but we know they're playing it in London. 2.5 are the Rams' favorite. 44.5 is the point total. Ron, you went with Jacksonville, right? Yeah, I went with Jacksonville too. I think that they're not gonna. I think that that play that they beat Kansas City on, it's not gonna repeat itself. I think that they're gonna straighten it out. So I got them winning over the Rams. Next game is the Saints at Bears. Bears are favored by 5.5. 47.5 is the point total. Ron, what's your prediction?
I'm taking the Bears to win. In Chicago, tough place to play. I know the Saints are playing better, but give me Chicago to win this one.
Yeah, give me Chicago. I think Ben Johnson is finally the reps are finally happening for him and Williams. So give me the Bears. Dolphins at Browns, 2 dysfunctional teams.
Yeah.
2.5 is the Browns' favorite. 40.5 is the point total. Ron, who'd you go with?
I'm going with Cleveland here. I wouldn't put money on this game, but I trust the Browns defense over anything Miami's doing right now. And this game, like you said, is in Cleveland. Weather probably won't be that bad this weekend, but I'm going to take the Browns to win this one.
Yeah, I went with the Browns too, but this was actually going to be my upset special, and I went back and forth, and I was like, but then I saw those things that came out of Tua's mouth. It's almost like he was trying to say, like, don't blame me, man.
Yeah, he has to take some accountability.
But he was trying to, like, shake it off, like, I'm just a football player. They'll tell me what to do. So I went with Cleveland. The next game, Raiders at Chiefs. This is the highest spread of the week. 12.5 for KC. 45.5 is the over and under. Ron, what's your prediction?
Kansas City I think they'll go over that 12.5. Spot.
Yeah, I mean, the way that offense for Las Vegas has been playing, even with Genti, it's just not enough. And now, I don't think they have a tight end, right?
Yeah, Bauer's been hurt. They're talking about holding him out till after their bye week. So, they have Mayer, who's another good tight end, but it's he's not Bauer.
The next game is Eagles at Vikings. Eagles are favored by 1.5. 42.5 is the over and under. Ron, what'd you go with?
I went with Minnesota here. Again, going back to what I said last week, teams coming off their bye week have an advantage, and Minnesota has just had their bye week. I think McCarthy is ready or close to ready to play this week. We'll see. I don't trust him as a quarterback. I haven't been impressed, but they're playing at home, extra time to prepare to get healthy. Give me Minnesota to win this one.
Because Minnesota is coming off a bye week, right? Yeah. I know they're going to have the bye week, but I went with the Eagles. I know that they're dysfunctional. Them in Miami, probably the most, where players are just doing their own thing. They have total disregard for their coaching, but I just feel like Philly might pull this off, but I didn't want to go upset special, but because the point is so low, the spread is so low, but give me Philly to win this one. The next game, Panthers at Jets. This is a cooked team. For some reason, Carolina is favored by 1.5. I thought that should be more, but whatever. 41.5 is the spread. Ron, what's your prediction?
It pains me to say that I got to take Carolina, and now they scored a lot this past week, right? They beat Dallas 30.
But you know what? They haven't won a game on the road, though.
Yeah, and Dallas's defense stinks. But the Jets are so bad.
They don't score any points.
Fields is so bad, and unless you tell me they're pulling Fields and putting Tyrod Taylor in, I don't think the Jets are going to win. There's not, I don't think. And this could be the breaking point, for Glenn. If he loses this game, he could be fired, but I'm going to take Carolina here.
Has there ever been fired first year coach?
Yes. I'm sure there had. I can't think of who it's been, but I'm sure it's happened before.
It wasn't Adam Gase, right? For the Jets. I think he was there a couple of years. I just feel like this is like rinse repeat. Like they just can't keep a coaching staff. Yeah. I thought that Robert Saleh was gonna be the one that finally. Nope, I was wrong.
The guy from ESPN who went to the Colts. They brought him in as an interim. The former player. They brought him into.
Oh, just Saturday.
Was he fired like that same year, or
wasn't he with the Colts? Didn't the Colts bring him in?
Yeah, they brought him in. I thought he might be one that was fired.
I think he was the interim coach.
Yeah, but he was probably fired right away.
Yeah, they didn't keep him. He didn't come back. Next game, the Giants at Denver Broncos. Denver is favored by 6.5. 40.5 is the over and under. Ron, what's your prediction?
I am taking the Giants. Part of it is because I don't trust Denver. Denver barely beat the Jets. They only put up 13 points and barely beat the Jets. Something's going on with their offense. I don't know what it is. But the Giants, one thing we know they have is a good front line. So their defense is going to be ready to play. Give me the Giants to win this one.
Yeah, I went back and forth with this one because number one, I didn't see that game against the Jets in London, and number two, is it still Bo Nix? Like, is Bo Nix the issue, or is it just that Champagne doesn't have the fastball anymore?
I think it's part of Bo Nix how he's playing the running game at times. I think it's like a combination of just different issues that have happened.
Because he's supposed to be like an offensive genius, like. He knows the plays. He knows what to run. I mean, that game against the Chargers, I think he played the clock perfectly and he ran out the clock. And I think he's a better coach than Dable. So I went with Denver strictly on just having a better coach.
I don't know why I didn't make this game my upset special. 6.5 is a huge spread.
That's huge spread.
There's no way I could see Giants losing by more than 6.5.
I mean, they would have to play like the Saints and just give the ball away many, many times. The next game, the Colts at Chargers. Chargers are favored of 1.5. The over and under is 40.5 points. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I'm taking Indy. I know the Chargers had a good win this past week. They did win, right?
Against Miami, yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's the Dolphins that they played. Too many injuries for the Chargers to overcome, I think. So I want to take Indy to win this one.
I can see why the spread is 1.5 because Indy's defense is not that good, which is strange because, and I think that they've beaten really bad teams,
terrible teams.
I think that this might be one of those times where they face a decent team. The Chargers are a decent team. I know they have a lot of injuries, but give me the Chargers to win this game. I think that close game, but they pull it off. Next game, Commanders at the Cowboys. The Washington is favored by 1.5. 55.5 is the total points. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, it's gonna be a high scoring game. Both these teams, like defensively, not playing that well at all. I'm taking Dallas, although they just lost to Carolina. I'm going to take Dallas to win this one because I think Washington's offense has some question marks for sure. Now, if the receiver, what's his name, McLaurin plays, might be a different story. But I want to take Dallas to win this one.
I took Dallas, and I also saw the point spread total. And to be honest, I think this might be a tie. Because both defenses are not great, especially Dallas defense is awful. And I just see a tie here for some reason. Cowboys are good at home, I guess you can call them that, but they just, man, I would hate to be a Dallas Cowboys fan because then I saw on the ticker, Jerry Jones is like, I'm willing to trade for a defensive player. You had a defensive player. This dude lost his mind. Yeah. I don't know. Next game, Packers at the Cardinals. Packers are favored by 6.5. 44.5 is a point spread total. Ron, who'd you go with?
Yeah, I don't know who's playing quarterback. If it's going to be Kyler Murray if he comes back, or if it's going to be Brissett. I'm taking Green Bay here. I think they're the better team, but I have a feeling Arizona might be like it's gonna be a closer game than people expect because Green Bay is not a team that, for some reason, at least not yet, they have like gone away and blown teams out yet. So give me Green Bay to win, but I think it's gonna be a sneaky close game.
It's weird because at the beginning of the year, they were the juggernaut team. I mean, week number 3, we were like, yeah, this is going to be Green Bay's year. I think that they're a prepared team. They just have a problem with like playing to the level. I don't know. Something's going on with that defense. I also picked Green Bay to win this one. I want to say I like the Cardinals but they're just always in the game. Right. They're always in the game. So, yeah, give me Green Bay. Sunday night game, Falcons at 49ers. Niners are favored by 2.5.
This is your upset special here.
Oh, yeah.
These next two games.
Well, let's just do them anyways because they're basically our upset special. So, this is my upset special. I got Atlanta beating San Francisco, and I got the final score as, I didn't even write it down. So the point spread for them is, let me just look, 47.5. So I think that Atlanta actually scores with Penix more points than San Francisco. Give me a 24-21 win. I think Atlanta, I know that they just beat Buffalo and they might be hyped up, but Mac Jones or whoever is the quarterback is no Josh Allen. So I pick Atlanta to win this game.
Yeah, I'm taking San Fran here. It comes down to the head coach for San Fran. I trust him. I think Shanahan will get things back in order here, and he'll pull out a win. I don't fully trust Atlanta yet, but again, like I just said at the beginning of the podcast, Atlanta is going to be a team that is going to surprise some people and could back their way into the playoffs. but I'm taking San Fran to win this one.
Okay, then last game, and who's your upset special?
Yeah, so this is my upset special. It's Tampa at Detroit. Detroit is favored, which isn't surprising. 5.5 is the spread, though. That's a little bit surprising. 52.5 is the over/under, second highest. That's not surprising either. I think both of these teams will score a lot of points. But I'm taking Tampa. I'm not ever, I think I mentioned this, gonna go against Baker Mayfield. I think he's the clear-cut MVP at this point. It's his to lose. I think he's gonna do something miraculous again, and I see them pulling out a win at the buzzer. Basically, I got 31-30 as the final score, going over the 52.5.
Yeah, I also got Tampa Bay winning this one. They're figuring it out that their defense is getting better. I know they got a couple injuries on the line, but Baker Mayfield is playing. I don't even know how to describe it, because he's just like doing it all. Passing, running, talking trash.
Yeah.
He's just doing it all. And I'm like,
ultimate competitor, man.
You think that Carolina, Cleveland, even LA are like kicking themselves like, dude, we could have just signed this guy.
I don't think if he stayed at Cleveland, he'd have that much success, because I think it starts at the top again, and there's so much dysfunction there. The owners and coaches would just hold him back. Everyone's a victim of their circumstance. Like the position you're in, the team that you play for. We've seen that now with Daniel Jones and the success he's having now, right? We see that with like other quarterbacks who've Darnold, right? Who've gone off and had success. So I think they would have ruined him.
I forgot, Ron, that there's another two-nighter Monday night.
Oh, yeah.
Houston Texans at Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks are favored at 3.5. 41.5 is the over and under. What's your prediction?
You see what time this game's at?
I'm probably going to be asleep, to be honest.
10 o'clock at night
I'm
Eastern.
going to be asleep.
There's no way I'm going to be able to watch this one. I like Seattle, too. I think they're a really good team. I got Seattle winning. But these Monday night games, I'm not a fan. I don't care what time it is. I'm not a fan of like having two Monday nights. I'm just not into it at all.
I mean, if we lived in the West Coast, that'd be great. Because you're like, oh, there's another game at 7 o'clock. Perfect. 6 o'clock. Perfect. I think that sometimes, the NFL hoards itself out to these YouTube, high bid.
Oh, yeah.
TV contracts, and just like, oh, you want 2 games on a Monday night? Sure. Yeah. Oh, you wanna do this so that you can like, flaunt that you have 2, viewer TVs, and you can. This is pathetic.
It's all about the Benjamins.
It's all about the Benjamins. So yeah, give me Seattle to win this game. I think if Houston beats Seattle, you think they're back? Would these be game? What? I'm just looking at the standings. This keep 2 wins or 3 wins?
Let me look at the standings real quick. Because I don't know. And
so they have 2. They're 2-3 right now. They are on a two game win streak. And we got the Jags losing. Oh, no, we got the Jags winning. We're split on the Colts.
So Houston, the teams that they've won against, the Titans, 26-0, and then Lamarless Ravens, 44-10. Do I think they're back if they win this game?
I mean, their defense is legit, 61 points. They're plus 47. So their defense is legit, but do you think the offense is back?
No, I don't know. I need to see it. I think a little longer.
Yeah, that's why I don't think they're fully cooked, but yeah, give me a Seattle for this game. All right, let's talk about our teams, and let's talk about Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. The spread is 5.5 for Pittsburgh. The point total is 43.5. Ron, who'd you go with?
Yeah, so I saw some crazy stat about not only Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, but just like AFC North teams in Thursday night games. And they are awful, like atrocious in winning these games. Don't know why, but I'm obviously taking Pittsburgh here. Like I said, we're relatively healthy for the most part. I don't know if Calvin Austin's going to be playing on the offensive side. I don't think we need him. Cincinnati's defense is terrible. Hendricks has not been practicing and probably will not play. That's their best defensive player. Give me Pittsburgh to win this one 24-17. I do think Flacco will make their offense better, but I think I like our cornerbacks. Joey Porter and Ramsey, against, their receivers. I think we can win those matchups. So that's why we brought these guys in. Give me Pittsburgh to win 24-17.
Yeah, I have the same score. I was going to have 24-10, but I think Flacco is worth an extra touchdown. I just don't think that they're going to, surpass 17 points, but because the Steelers defense is so good, but give me the same score, 24-17. The next game, New England at Tennessee. New England is favored by 7.5. 42.5 is the over and under. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, it's all over the place with this score here, but 7.5 is the spread here. I do have the Patriots winning. I have 26-17 as the final score. I think I initially had 28, but then I started to think about the Patriots and like their scores, and I guess they're capable of putting up points. They put up 42 against the Panthers. They put up 33 against the Dolphins, so they can score into the 30s and higher. But I got them scoring 26. And Tennessee at 17. That might be a little bit of a stretch. I don't know if they'll get to 17. A lot of dysfunction there with them firing their coach. It could be 26-10, but I gave them an extra touchdown here. 26-17 is what I'm going with.
This is Vrabel's revenge game. I gave them 35-10.
Yeah,
I think he's just going to be like, keep scoring. I don't care. Keep scoring.
Yeah.
Because new coaching staff, new strategy. I know that, he's going to be like, hey, guys, just keep doing what you're doing, which is losing. It's not like he's going to, it's not in a week he's going to install a new system. He's going to be like, just keep doing what you're doing. As the year goes on, I'll start implementing new things. If they keep doing what they're doing, which they weren't doing very well to begin with.
Yeah.
I just don't see Tennessee beating them.
Yeah, my question is how much and like I said, the Patriots have done it already, but how much do I trust them going over 30 points? I just couldn't get there.
I see Dobbs coming in this game.
Wow.
I'll be like, all right, time to sit May down. That's how confident. 7.5. That's a big spread for.
But you're at 25.
What?
Your spread 35-10.
Yeah, I think that they go over that spread.
That's
easily.
way over.
Because I'm not a big Cam Ward fan like you are.
He's not been the problem. I'll tell you that. He's been pretty good.
I think that there's been a lot of drops. I don't even know who is their running back. I don't know.
Tony Pollard.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be better. I guess he was part of this workout regime this summer. I don't know if that helped because the coaching was so bad.
Let me ask you that. If your team, what would be the reason you think, do you give Tennessee any chance? What percentage would you give them to win this game? 0? Like a flat 0?
Maybe a 5% chance.
And if they were to win, what would be the reasons Tennessee wins?
Drake May injury. That's the only thing, because Drake May is the offense. Because Patriots don't really have a running game. Yes, and they have short yardage. Yes, they're better at short yardage, but they don't. Almost every game that they play this year, they haven't gone over 100 yards.
Yeah.
So it would have to be something catastrophic like that, where they're like, well,
this might be the game that they go over 100 yards, because who knows what's going on in Tennessee.
I see a lot of penalties for Tennessee in this game. They're just not gonna be prepared. Even if they if the coach comes in and he's like, whoever the coach, because they haven't even announced who the replacement is, so it might be an interim coach because they don't know. It's like, oh, you know what? We'll just give you a promotion and keep doing the garbage that you were doing. Ron, what do you have to say to the team out there?
Listen, Steeler fans, Thursday night game. We can hopefully, knock on wood, do what we're supposed to do and win this week, and then sit back and relax and enjoy the rest of the weekend. There's nothing better than getting your game with over early. I felt that like a couple weeks ago when they played overseas. That Sunday morning, got to sit back, relax, have them win, get the stress over with, and then enjoy the rest of the week. That's what I'm looking forward to on Thursday. If for whatever reason we lose, something
You'll
must
still
have,
be in first place.
Yeah, but something must have happened. And then, I'll start to second guess like what the hell we're doing if we lose this week.
I mean, I know Cincinnati has good wide receivers, but they can't block anybody.
Yeah.
And you have a good defense. With the Patriots, I just want them to stack those victories. This is a cupcake schedule. Just stack those victories.
Yeah.
Let Buffalo be behind the 8-ball, not the other way around. And then protect Drake May.
You got some tough games coming up, though, after this week. You got the Browns. Their defense is pretty good. They'll give you a little bit of a challenge. Now, offensively, they can't do jack. You got the Falcons. Again, number one defense in the NFL. You got the Bucks, right? Baker Mayfield. And then from there, you got a little bit of a break again.
Yeah, so. I mean, before the season, we were like, yep, they're probably going to lose to Tampa. They're probably going to lose to Buffalo. And now, and we were even like, they're probably going to lose to the Bengals. But things change. And I think that Thursday night game against the Giants is going to be interesting.
How many wins do you think you give them?
I mean, at the beginning of the year, I had them at 9. But now that they beat Buffalo, they could easily be 10 or 11.
Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule. I'm giving them 6 more wins. That'll put them at 10 wins.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this team. I mean, the Browns. Let's be honest. Dylan is not gonna be better than Drake May. I think the Falcons and the Bucks.
I don't think he needs to be, though, if that defense can do anything.
Did Myles Garrett do anything?
Not a dang thing.
That's what I mean. You can if you neutralize him, neutralize the rest of the defense. So, and I think that who is the cornerback for Cleveland?
Ward.
I don't know. He makes dumb mistakes all the time. Even though he's a good cornerback, he makes dumb. And now that we know that the Ravens are throwing the season out, even though they might be going on the run in December, but
they're not throwing the season. They're going to be going for it. Bills is going to want revenge, so.
And then they end up with the Jets and Dolphins.
Jets and Dolphins. I mean, both those coaches should be gone at that point, I would imagine, right?
Well, like you say, it's very rare to have a mid-season firing.
Yeah, but that's the end of the season, like the last 2 games.
And, they always play spoil. And I don't know why that Dolphins game is to be announced. We know that's going to be a 1:00 game. It's not going to be a Saturday game. So next week, we'll have week number 8, episode 134. So in that, I'll say peace.
Peace. All right, that's it, guys. That's the end of the show. Thanks so much for all your support and listening today. If you got any questions, comments, feedback, feel free to email us at simsportsmedia@gmail.com. That's SYMSPORTSMEDIA@gmail.com. Peace.